today just we are going to apply that equations of motions, just like yesterday in the last day we have discussed the three ওখান থেকে সাউন্ডটা আসছে আমার কানে ওখান থেকে বারবার ইকো হয়ে সাউন্ডটা আমার কানে আসছে So now just like we use this formula, so V is equal to U plus AT is equal to UT plus of here U square plus it's just like see if we want to use this formula, just like we have some applications where we can apply these formulas, and in exams, either in a NEET, either in the JEE Mains, we have this kind of questions. Suppose a particle moving in a path, just like within a point A and B, this is a path. If I'm just going to see that the velocity at the position A, it is a v1, and the velocity at the B is equal to v2. So now if the particle is moving with a uniform acceleration, if it is a moving with the uniform acceleration, what is the velocity it is having at the midpoint? These two informations are given, v1 and v2. These two informations are given. There's a midpoint, is the velocity. Let us think that I'm going to have the total distance is equal to x, actually displacement we can say. So from middle point, if the point is C, this displacement is equal to x by 2. Therefore we can tell v square is equal to v1 square plus 2 into, if I'm just going to think that the acceleration is a into x by 2, that I can write. So therefore this and this is going to cancel. The v square is equal to v1 square plus ax is equal to v1 square plus ax. This is my equation, the first equations I can write. And now the second equation, the final equation, the final velocity is v2. Okay, so v2, so whenever I'm just going to think that the v2 is my final velocity, because in the duration of this region A to C, v1 is the initial velocity, v is the final velocity. So final velocity square is equal to initial velocity square 2a acceleration into displacement. This 2 getting cancels out, so we can write v square, the velocity here, v square is equal to v1 square plus a x. Now for the region C to B, what I can use, what is the final velocity? v2. v2 square is equal to, what is the initial velocity at this position? V plus 2a, same x by 2, because this part is also half, because total displacement if the x, so it is x by 2. So this x, this is a half of cancelling out. v2 square is equal to v square plus ax. Simple. So therefore just like you can see, already we know that this thing, already we know this thing. What we know, you can see the v square money, v2 square is equal to, v square means v1 square plus ax plus ax. v2 square minus v1 square is equal to 2ax. Okay, therefore we can write v2 square minus v1 square divided by 2 is equal to ax, isn't it? Take, no problem. Therefore just now we want to find the speed at the middle position. We want to find the speed at velocity at the middle position. So equation already known, v square is equal to v1 square plus, instead of writing this ax, we are going to put this value v2 square minus v1 square divided by 2. Therefore, 2v1 square plus v2 square minus v1 square by 2. This is equal to v square. So we can write finally v square is equal to v1 square plus v2 square divided by 2. Mane v is equal to root over v1 square plus v2 square by 2. তো আওয়াজ আসছে কেন প্রচন্ড? আমারটাই আমি শুনে যাচ্ছি, আমার কানের কাছে ঘাট 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 করে বাজছে, অন্য টাইমে তো আসে না। v1 square plus v2 square divided by 2। হ্যাঁ ওই দেখো ও বলে যাচ্ছে, আমার কানের কাছে আমারটাই বাজছে, ঠিক আছে? আমি পড়ে যাচ্ছি, আমার কানের কাছে রিপিট করছে। ওটা তোমার ঘরে শোনা যাক, ঠিক আছে, নো প্রবলেম। কি হলো বলো তো? স্পিকার কিছুটা অন ফন হয়ে বসে আছে। v1 square plus v2 square divided by 2 is equal to this and this। হ্যাঁ এখন কিন্তু আসছে না, যাই হোক। তোমার ওখানে আসছে কিনা দেখো, আসল জায়গায় আসছে কিনা। হ্যালো হ্যালো হ্যালো। So now just we have observed this thing that this is the way we can apply these formulas just like in this way. Now see, we have some applications like this way. Now if I just going to see that in some situation like already we've discussed in the last day, just whenever a particle projected straight upward, when a particle straight projected upward with a certain velocity u, it is rising up and again coming down, that we have seen. So here g is the acceleration due to gravity is going to act downward. We know this thing. Now in some situation, let us think that if I am going to have an inclined plane, if its inclination is theta, then what the thing is going to happen? This is my horizontal plane, is the inclination theta. Then if an object is placed it here, an object is placed it here, an object is having a weight like this way, mg. Now you can see we can break this into two components. Mane weight can be broken into two components. The geometrically this is 90 degree, this is theta. Naturally this is 90 minus theta. So since this is 90, so this is theta. Simple geometry. Understanding my point? If this is theta, this is 90, this part is 90 minus theta, this angle. Is it clear, children? So if the total angle is 90, this one, this is total angle is 90, if this is 90 minus theta, naturally this will be theta. So now mg is the weight. So what is the component acting? Mg cos theta. And what is the component acting? Mg sin theta. Okay. So now this mg cos theta having a reaction like this way from the inclined ground, so this is getting cancelled, but mg sin theta having an effect through which due to which the object will slide down, the object can fall down. So now if there is no friction existing here, no friction existing in the inclined plane, so we can think that a is the acceleration with which the object is going to come down. So ma is the net force. We can write mg sin theta. We can write it like this way, mm cancelling out. So a is going to become g sin theta. Okay. So this is the acceleration with which the object is going to come down if it is released in a frictionless inclined plane. So in this situation, if I think that, just we have just thrown a particle, thrown an object of mass m like this way, just like this. So what the thing is going to happen? If the inclination is theta, you can imagine, just like whenever we project a particle upward, acceleration due to gravity g acts downward. Here, the acceleration due to gravity g sine theta, the component of the acceleration due to gravity, there is a g sine theta, is going to act downward, g sine theta, isn't it? ठीक ना? So understanding my point. So now in this situation, what the thing is going to happen? If I'm just going to think that a body is projected from the bottom of a smooth inclined plane with a velocity 20 meter per second. This body is projected with the 20 meter per second. This way, in this direction, in this inclined plane, along this inclined plane upward. It is sufficient to carry it to the top in 4 seconds. If I'm going to think that this is it is having a height, this inclined plane is having a height h, suppose within 4 seconds it is going to rise to this maximum position, maximum height. Okay, so if this is going to happen that within 4 seconds it is rising to the maximum height, we have to find this inclination. Okay, this question is that. So now how to find that thing? You can see that if this is the g is acting this way, component of the g is g cos theta, and this component is equal to g sine theta. So this is the component g sine theta. Okay, now final velocity v is equal to u minus at, isn't it? What is the final velocity when it is reaching the maximum height? That is the 0. So u is what? 20. A is what? What is the a? G sine theta. This is the g sine theta. What is the time to reach the maximum height? When it stops instantly, the time is 4 seconds, isn't it? So therefore, what we can write from here, the 20 is equal to g into 4 into sine theta. Okay. So therefore, we can write sine theta is equal to 20 divided by g. I can take the value of the g. 10 into 4 মানে 40, 20 by 40 মানে হচ্ছে half sine theta. Therefore, theta we can take 30 degree. Understanding my point? So if a particle is projected along the inclined plane with a velocity 20 meter per second and it is reaching the maximum height within 4 seconds, so we can tell the inclination is equal to half. মানে the angle sine theta is equal to half. Simple thing. Okay, very good. Now we have to find what should be the height. What should be the height existing? The particle has reached maximum inclination here. We're just assuming there is a smooth surface and it is reaching the maximum position. Okay, so what should be the maximum height is going to exist here? Now see what the thing is going to happen. Initially we projected with the speed 20 meter per second. We have projected with the speed of 20 meter per second. So now whenever it is going to reach this one maximum height, the velocity is 0 because it is going up and g sine theta is acting downward. So it is reaching this point and it at this position speed is going to become 0. So v square is equal to u square minus 2as. Check. What is the velocity final? 0. 0 square. U is what? 20. So 20 square minus 2 into a. You can observe what is a? That is the g sine theta. G into what is the sine theta we already derived? Sine theta is equal to half. Is equal to half into s. Isn't it? Any problem, children? Understanding my point? I think you understand it. So therefore, from this equation, we are going to find the s. This s. This s is what? The length of this inclined plane. This one, this length of the inclined plane. So therefore, 20 square is equal to this cancelling out g mane 10 into s. So s is equal to 20 square. 20 into 20 divided by 10, cancelling out mane 40. S is equal to 40. Okay, so therefore whenever 40 meter, I can assume that it is the 40 meter. Okay, So therefore, what should be the height? This we require this vertical height now. We require this vertical height now. If this length is s from here to here, if this length is s, that is the value is 40. Then this height, but h by s means what? This is h, this is s, huh? This is h, this is s. So what is the value? H by s perpendicular by hypotenuse is equal to sine theta. Is equal to sine theta. The h divided by 40 is equal to half. And h is equal to 20 meter. The height is equal to 20 meter in this inclined plane. Children, I think you are understanding the concept. You are understanding this kind of questions whenever we project a particle along the inclined plane. So this kind of question can come in any paper. Very good. Nice. Now see, just like you can observe that in some situations, I'm going to change that page. In some situations, we can observe that suppose a balloon is going to rise. A balloon is rising. Suppose in a certain position, this balloon is rising, and we can think that sometimes it can accelerate in the upward direction with a constant acceleration. It can rise. Okay, and just like see, this is my balloon. This is my balloon. It is rising. Suppose I'm going, and let us think this is with an acceleration g by 8. Okay, it is rising up. It is having a acceleration upward direction g by 8. No problem. So now suppose when it is reaching a certain point, at a certain point, mane, if I'm just going to think that its height is h. At a height h, capital H, it is rising to a capital H. Then a stone dropped. From here, a stone is released. So what the thing is going to happen here? If I'm just going to see that at this position, I'm releasing, just dropping a stone, you can observe the stone will rise up and again fall down. Why it is going to rise up again? Why it is going to rise up again upward direction? Why? Because whenever the balloon has gone to a capital H height, at the height capital H, because the balloon has gathered some upward velocity at that instant of time. At that instant of time, balloon has gathered some upward velocity. So whenever I'm just going to release a stone, release anything from the balloon, that object will rise with that velocity, because that object which is dropped from the balloon, it is in the frame of the balloon. So it is possessing the velocity with which the balloon is rising at that instant of time. Understanding my point? So therefore, that object is going to rise up and again it will come and it will just going to strike the ground. I think the children, you understanding my point, what I'm going to tell. So now we require what should be the time taken by the stone, but that object to reach the ground. Okay, now see, first of all, we want to find the velocity that balloon has achieved when it has gone to this position. Okay, we can just assume that balloon has started with the velocity 0, initially started from the rest. Okay, so now we can see that v square, if the velocity here at the height h, v square is equal to u to 0, u square plus 2a into h. Okay, u to 0, so v square is equal to, what is the a? You can tell me, g by 8, isn't it? Just it is given g by 8 into h. So v square, we can write this 2 and 8 cancelling out, it is a 4. So gh divided by 4. Therefore, we can write like this way, v is equal to root gh divided by 2. So this is the velocity that balloon has achieved at the height h. So when a particle released from here, that object is going to rise with this much of velocity. root over gh by 2. Children, I think you're understanding my point. So now just imagine at a height h, an object projected with the velocity root over gh by 2. So it is going to rise and it is going to come down, isn't it? So when it is striking the ground, object gone up, again coming down, it is striking the ground. What is the net displacement? Net displacement is equal to negative h. Why? Because initial velocity is upward and the net displacement is downward. That's why we can write minus h is equal to what? Minus h is a negative displacement, ut minus half gt square. What is the u? U is this much, root gh by 2 ut minus half gt square. Children, understanding my point or not? Just think about. Is it clear to you? Is it clear to you? I think it is clear. Simple thing, not a very hi-fi thing, because final displacement, the final displacement of that particle which is released from the balloon is negative h, because it was thrown up, but final displacement is downward. It was thrown up, final displacement downward. That's why just we are putting this h is equal to minus. Okay, but u is positive because it is upward. Minus half gt square, this g is negative because g is acting downward. Simple thing. Therefore now just like we just simplify this one, we are going to simplify this one. How to simplify? Just like put this one this direction, half g t square, this one in this direction, root over g h by 2 t minus of h is equal to 0. Okay, very good. So now just like see, if I'm just going to multiply with the 2, what is coming? Gt square minus root over gh t minus 2h. I'm going to multiply with the 2, so just the simplification is going to come like this. So it is the quadratic equation of the time. It is a quadratic equation of the time. So we can just like we can use the Siddharacharya's formula, because we need not thinking about how to just middle term factor. No, we are just not going to do so. Just simply apply that. Simply apply Siddharacharya formula. What is the Siddharacharya formula? I think you know, ax square plus bx plus c is equal to 0. Children, in the class 9-10 you have done. So like x is equal to minus b plus minus root over b square minus 4ac divided by 2a. You know this thing, simple. Ax square plus bx plus c is equal to minus b. Just put this one, coefficient of the x, that's the minus b, plus minus b square minus 4 is b square, coefficient of the x. AC, a is the coefficient of the x square, c is the isolated constant term, c, by 2a. This is the result. So this plus minus gives the two values of the x. Two values of the x. Okay, similarly, I'm just going to have I can have like this way. I can have like t is equal to minus b. Tale minus b ko bolo? Minus of this one. This is b. X coefficient. I'm just going to put the coefficient of the t. Minus root gh plus minus root over b square. Minus root gh square. gh. This root has gone out. Okay. B square minus 4 into a. What is the a? This is a g. And b square minus 4a into c. What is the c? This is a minus 2h. Minus 2h. Okay. Divided by 2 into a. What is the a? This is a g. Isn't it? So what the result is going to come? Now see here, minus the plus. Mane 8gh plus gh. Mane 9gh root. Take. So finally what we can write from here, minus the plus, this is root gh. Okay. And this one plus minus 9gh root. Okay, 9gh root ko lekha tha 3 root gh. 3 root gh divided by কত 2g. Okay, তার মানে you can see that if I'm going to take negative symbol, negative sign of the 3 root gh, so total time is going to come negative. The negative time is doesn't matter, so we are not going to take that negative portion. Okay, let's try to understand. So we are going to take the only plus point, so the plus value, so 3gh plus gh, 4gh. So finally the time is going to come 4 root gh by g. So this root g cancelling out. 4 এটা 2 হচ্ছে, তার মানে 2 4 কাটলো 2, তাহলে 2 root over h by g. This is the time. So this is the time from that balloon. If I release an object, whenever the balloon has reached this h height, it will come to the ground. Any object just released, it will come to the ground after this much of time. Children, I think you are understanding the concept. You are understanding the concept. If you have any kind of doubt or if you have any kind of confusion, immediately ask me. I will make it clear. Okay, immediately ask in the VidyaNest. We are ready to clear you. If still anyone having any, but because this kind of questions will be asked either in the JE, either in the NEET or any board, just like West Bengal JE, just like CET. A lot of exams are there. So in that kind of exams, you will be asked this kind of questions. Okay, so you have to become familiar with this kind of things. Okay, fine, very good. Now next question. Let us think that. Let us think. Suppose you have observed the parachute. Whenever plane goes, aircraft moves horizontally. Suppose I'm just going to think that in a horizontal direction, in the horizontal motion, a aircraft is moving, and some parachute persons, an army person jumps from here. Okay, so whenever they jump, they have some horizontal velocity, but initially they are not having any particle component of the velocity. Okay, so a parachute person with having parachute, it jumps. Okay, and it falls. That person falls, continuously falls. Okay, let us think, whenever it is falling, it has gone certain high, certain length. Suppose from this position he's jumped, so now he's coming down. It travels certain length vertically. Let us think just without friction. Some air is there, air friction is very negligible, so without friction it is coming down. That object bar, that person coming down. Okay, so now after falling, just parachute opens. Whenever the parachute opens, immediately upward force acts on the parachute, and there will be a retardation. Now whenever the falling freely, it is the acceleration due to gravity, but when the parachute opens, retardation starts due to the upward force on the parachute due to the air. Okay, so now in that situation, the velocity reduces, continuously velocity reduces, and when the parachute is coming down to the earth, the velocity is almost negligible. When the person striking the ground, due to the retardation, when parachute opens, due to the retardation, the velocity reduces, and whenever he is going to strike the ground, the velocity has become negligible, almost near about zero, almost very less. So that that person or that object is safe. This is the concept of the parachute. Now let us think that just we are going to do a numerical from here. If I'm going to think that the parachuter jumped from a position and he has fallen without friction 50 meter. Fallen without friction, free fall. Okay, it is 50 meter. Okay, and now its parachute opens. When the parachute opens, retardation starts. What is the retardation start? Is experiencing a retardation of 2 meter per second square. Its retardation 2 meter per second square. Okay, now He reaches the ground. He reaches the ground with a velocity 3 meter per second. Okay, he's reaching the ground with a velocity what? 3 meter per second. So now the question is that what is the height of that initial position? What is the max from where the parachuter jumped? I think the question is clear, children. I think the question is clear to everybody. Okay, so now think that whenever it is falling, free fall, the portion of the free fall 50 meter, isn't it? So what is the velocity he has achieved after traveling 50 meter? Let us think the v square is equal to u square plus 2 and g into h. U to 0, just I initially told, whenever he is just jumping, its vertical velocity is 0. He can have a horizontal velocity, doesn't matter, but its vertical component of the velocity is 0. So therefore the v square is equal to 2 zeta. Let us think, তুমি ধরে নাও 10ই ধরে নাও 10 into 50, isn't it? ঠিক কি না? No problem. So therefore the velocity v is equal to কত? 50 into 10 মানে বলো 50 মানে 500 into 1000 root. This is the velocity. So after traveling, after free fall of the 50 meter, he has achieved this much of velocity. Is it clear or not clear, children? Is it clear? Any problem? Any problem? No problem. Very good. So now whenever he has achieved, this is a meter per second, just unit is that. So now whenever he has achieved this much of velocity, after that the parachute opens. Whenever the parachute opens, immediately retardation starts, the velocity reduces. Reduction of the velocity starts. Okay, no problem. So when reduction of the velocity starts and it is coming down, more and more velocity is reducing, and when it is striking the ground, ultimately just we are observing that at that instant of time the velocity is 3 meter per second, isn't it? So now I can calculate this h from this data. So now let's think. So final velocity square 3 square is equal to initial velocity square. This is the initial from where? From this point মানে root over 1000 v square is equal to u square minus 2a into h. What is this a? Retardation in the upward direction. This is a. What is the value? 2. So 3 square মানে 9000 মানে এটা 1000 minus 2, এর value কত? 2 into h. Children understanding my point or not? Children understanding my point or not? So now this is a 4h. So just put this one, 4h is equal to 1000 minus 9. Okay. So therefore the height is equal to 1000 minus 9 divided by 4. This height we have calculated. 1000 minus 9 কত হয় 991 তাই তো 991 by 4. This is the height where from in this region that person just enjoyed the parachute. This portion this much of meter. So what is the total length he has traveled whenever jumped from the from any aircraft for the parachute person? So what's the total length? Initially 50 meter was there. So 50 plus 991 by 4. This much of meter. This much of meter that person with parachute has traveled. I think you understanding my point, children, understanding my point. Just like calculate this one, 991 divided by 4, so 247 plus 50. So what is going to come? 297.75 approximately. This is coming 297.75 approximately. We can think 298. If I just going to round off this one, 298 meter. So in this question, we can just tell that the parachuter has jumped. Parachuter has jumped from a height of 298 meter above the ground. I think, children, this question is clear to you, isn't it? I think it is clear. Okay, very good, very nice. Fine. Now, just like C, next question. If I'm going to think that a ball is dropped from a top of a tower of height h, a tower is having height h. Okay, a ball dropped from that top point, and it is telling that for its motion, it has traveled h by 2 length. It has traveled a length of h by 2 for the last second of its motion. For the last second of its motion. So what the question is telling, if the total height of the tower is h, if the object is traveling, the falling object is falling and it has taken a time t, for last second it has gone h by 2 distance. Now half of the length it has traveled in the just traveled the half of the height last second. The question you understanding, children? I think you understand. So question is that what is the total time? How long the object which is falling was existing in the air? What is the total time the object existing in the air? Okay, I think you understand my point. No problem. Okay, fine. Now see, one thing we have to know. One thing you can see that F is equal to ut plus of half at square. You know this thing. Within the t time, this much of displacement occurs. Okay, within s t minus 1, money just 1 second before, what is the length it has traveled? U t minus 1 plus half a t minus 1 whole square, isn't it? This thing. Okay. So if I want to get displacement in the last second, this length it has traveled in the total t second, total length travel. This length it has traveled, total length travel in the t minus 1 second. মানে সিম্পলি ভাবো, যেমন আমি বললাম 10 সেকেন্ডে ট্রাভেল করেছে 20 মিটার উইদিন 10 সেকেন্ড, 9 সেকেন্ডে ট্রাভেল করেছে 15 মিটার ইন 9 সেকেন্ড, in 10 seconds. Within 10 seconds, it has traveled 20 meter. In 9 seconds, it has traveled 15 meter. Given an example. So, in the last second, this 1 second in between 9 to 10, what the length he has traveled? 10 meter minus, 20 meter minus 15 meter. In the 10 second, it has traveled 20 meter. In the 9 second, it has traveled 15 meter. So that the duration within 9 to 10 second, in the 1 second, that 1 second, it has what the length it has traveled? 20 meter minus 15 meter. 20 minus 15, 20 minus 15. So what? 5 meter it has traveled. Is it clear? Is it clear? I think it is clear. So therefore, just we can use this concept here. In 10 second, it has traveled. And in t minus 1 second it has traveled. So in the 10th second, that 1 second, in the 10th 1 second, it has traveled what? This minus this, s minus s t minus 1. So what the thing I can have? This ut minus this one, ut, if I take common, t minus t plus 1, this minus this, plus half a t square minus half a t minus 1 whole square. So half a, if I take common, t square minus t minus 1 whole square. Children understanding my point? Still, if you have the confusion, you ask me. So this t cancelling out, I'm going to have u plus half a into t square minus t minus square. A square minus b square, I can have the formula t minus t plus 1. T plus t minus 1. This t cancelling out. U half a to t minus 1. The s teeth. The formula for the teeth second is equal to u plus half of a to t minus 1. Simple formula. You have to remember. These formulas you have to remember. Okay. I think you are understanding my point, isn't it? No problem. Very good. Okay. So, just like see, now from this equation, what I'm just going to see that I'm just release this object with a zero velocity. If it is require time t, then h is equal to half of gt square. Simple thing. H is equal to half gt square. Okay. And now, what the thing is that here we can observe that in the last part of its motion, in the last part of the motion, what we can observe from here, in the velocity it is achieving here at this position. If the velocity is v, we can just see, because within this period at v time, it's the time is a t minus 1, isn't it? If the last second is this much, h by 2, so velocity is going to achieve g into t minus 1, this much. See? Okay, no problem. Just like we can see that from here, we can observe from here. What we can observe from here? What we can observe from here? We can observe from here that if the value of the h is given, if the value of the h is given, so just like we can just put it this way, h. We don't require this all these things. This is the h. H. What is this h? Half h by 2. U is a 0. Then a half. What is this a? This is a g. 2t minus 1. If the h is given, so just like we can use this for expression to find that total time of flight for this one. So here we can have like this way, this cancelling out, h is equal to g into 2t minus 1, like this way. So h by g is equal to 2t minus 1, so that we can have h by g plus 1 into half is equal to the total time we can find from here. This is the total time we can find from here. Okay, if this h information of the h is given, so we can immediately we can put the value of the h, and we can find also this thing. Okay. Similarly, just like see, if I'm going to think that like expression or what we have found from here, expressions what we have found from here, you can see that this expression is actually containing a h height. Just like one expressions we can also find here also. One expression like this way. This h, already we've seen that. This is one of the h. H is equal to half g square. Now, if I am going to see that this h by 2, this half portion, because within a time of t minus 1, it has traveled h by 2 length. So we can write like this way. H by 2 is equal to half g into t minus 1 whole square, isn't it? We can write like this way. So now, just like see, if I'm going to think that this is the equation 1, and if I'm going to think that this is the equation 2, so this equation 1 by 2, h divided by h by 2 is equal to half gt square, half g t minus 1 whole square. So h cancelling out, this 2 is going to come, this is a 2, this g half cancelling out, t square divided by t minus 1 whole square, isn't it? So now your root 2 is equal to t minus 1. So it is a more easier method. This method, we need not require to think about the previous way. We just thought about that we require this h, information of this h. But now just we can observe that we don't require the information of the h. So how to find? Just like already we are observing that this is root 2 into t minus root 2 is equal to t, isn't it? So now just put this one t here. So root 2t minus of t is equal to root 2. I'm just going to put this t here and root 2 in that part. So we can have like this way, t into root 2 minus 1 is equal to root 2. Therefore, the t value of the t is equal to root 2 divided by root 2 minus 1. We can find, we need not require to apply this one also. In this situation, we need not require. Just only by making the ratio, because h is the total height, half gt square, and h by 2 is the half of the height. It has traveled in the duration of t minus 1 second. So h by 2 is equal to half gt minus 1 whole square. Make a ratio, and you can have that. You can find the time required to travel, that total length. Time required to travel the total length, just we can find from there. Okay. I think you are understanding my point, what I'm telling, isn't it? Very good. Now see. Let us think just like we can see. Suppose I'm just going to have a ball throwing. We are just going to throw a ball from the top of a tower vertically upward direction. Okay. The velocity at a point h below the point of the projection is twice the velocity at a point h above the point of projection. Now see what the thing is going to happen. You can see like from a tower we are projecting an object. Okay. Now what they are telling, from a tower we are projecting an object. It is telling that whenever it is rising at a height h, what it is having a velocity, suppose it is having a velocity v, and when it is coming down in the downward portion, this height is also h. It is achieving a velocity 2v. Question understanding my point? When in the upward direction, when it is reaching the point h, upward direction, we have just thrown the particle from a tower, it is reaching the point in the upward portion, it is having height h. That position is having a velocity, but when it is coming down and cross that tower, top point of the tower, and come down to height h, it is achieving a double of the velocity which has achieved by the object at height h above the tower. This is the situation. Okay. The question is that what is the maximum height reached by the ball above the tower? What is the maximum height reached by the ball, reached by the object which we have thrown? What is the maximum height it has reached? Actually, it is crossed and come down. What is the maximum height? That we have to think about. Now see, um, suppose we have thrown with a velocity u. See, very good. Acha, tale v square, because when it is reaching at height h upward, this is the v square is equal to u square minus 2gh. Yes, fine, very good. V square is equal to u square minus 2gh. Very good. But when it is coming down and reaching downward, then the velocity is becoming 2v. We can write u square minus 2g. H should be negative because why? Why it is negative? Why? Because u is upward, this h is downward, so we're just going to put this minus h. Children, understanding my point? Try to understand this point. U is upward, h is downward. That's why with respect to u it is negative. U is upward, g is downward. That's why g is negative. We are just going to put this is retard in this position. G is retardation, but it h is downward. That's why minus h. If still have confusion, you ask in the VidyaNest. U square plus minus plus 2gh 4v square, isn't it? I think it is clear to you, isn't it? I think it is clear. No problem. So this is the first equations we can have. So now what the thing is that if the object is projected with the velocity u, what is the maximum height it will reach? It will reach 0 square is equal to u square minus 2g capital H. So u square by 2g is the h we require. That's the maximum height above the tower. This is the h. We require that thing, u square by 2g, isn't it? So now make a ratio of this thing. So 4, this is the equation 2, this is the equation 1. If I'm just going to have, then this 4v square, equation 2 divided by equation 1 divided by v square. So this is u square plus 2gh divided by u square minus 2gh, isn't it? So this is the 4 is equal to u square plus 2gh divided by u square minus 2gh is equal to 4. Is equal to 4. Take. So now you observe, we require what we require? We require u square by 2g. So now from here, just if I just simplify this one, little bit simplifications required. If I simplify just in this ratio, just up and down, if I just going to divide by 2g, but what the relation is going to come? U square by 2g plus h, u square by 2g minus h. Take, no problem. Now we can use the component dividend. 4 plus 1 divided by 4 minus 1, isn't it? Similarly, u square by 2g plus h, u square by 2g minus h. 2 into u square by 2g. U square plus 2g plus h. And so u square by 2g minus h. So let u square by 2g plus h plus this one. So plus h minus h is cancelling out. U square by 2g plus h, u square by 2g minus h. If I just going to subtract 2 into h, isn't it? So 2 cancelling out. What the relation is going to come? 4 plus 1, 5, 4 minus 1, 3. So 5 by 3 is equal to u square by 2g by h. So therefore u square divided by 2g is equal to 5 by 3 h. This is the maximum possible height by the object whenever thrown from the tower. Have you understood the question? The question was that if I'm just going to project with a certain velocity, when it is reaching a height h, what the velocity at this position? Huh? When it is coming down and in the downward direction, it is reaching the same height in the downward direction. It is achieving a double of the velocity. Huh? What the velocity it had existing here. In the upper height h, it had a velocity v, but in the lower height h, it had a velocity 2v. Then the question was asked that what is the maximum height it can reach? What is the maximum height it can reach? So this is the procedure through which we can solve this way. This is the procedure. Okay. So this kind of questions can be asked students in any kind of competitive exams. Okay, children.